Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan from DHTV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone Air, or iPhone 17. And in this video, you're going to learn the basics to these phones so that you can start using them and get the most out of them. As always, there's links in the description to the full playlist of other tutorials, tips, and tricks for the iPhone 17 models. Let's get started. This iPhone tutorial will work with pretty much any iPhone, especially if you have iOS 26, which is what we're running here, or even newer versions of iOS. Now, before we do jump into it, I just want to give you a quick disclaimer here. There is a lot to this video, so if you don't have the time to watch the whole thing, save it. And also, there are chapters in the video description, so you can actually click those timestamps and skip ahead to exactly what you're looking to learn. We're going to start off with some of the basics here. So that's like navigating the iPhone screen and what everything is. And then we'll move on to some more advanced things, tips and tricks, and cool features that you should know, as well as settings. So like I said, let's go over navigating and organizing the iPhone here. First off, if your iPhone is off, turn it on, press and hold on that side button until you see the Apple logo appear on the screen. Let it do its thing. It takes about 30 seconds depending on which iPhone you have to turn back on. Now, if your phone doesn't turn on like this and you see a setup screen, you'll need to set up your iPhone first. There's a card right here. You can tap or click on it. It'll take you to the tutorial video on how to set up your iPhone 17 Pro or iPhone 17 Air. Now, this lock screen wakes itself up like this. If it turns itself off, you can just tap on the screen to bring it back or press a button. You swipe up from the bottom. It either brings up a passcode or uses Face ID, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So you're going to enter that passcode in, and then it will bring you to this page here, which is our home screen. And there's multiple home screens on the iPhone, and that'll bring us to navigating. So to navigate between your home screens here, it's pretty simple. You're going to use swipes. So we can swipe left, and you can see it navigates between our pages. We can swipe right. It'll do the same. Now, all the way to the left brings you to this page here, which is our widgets library or widgets page, where you can add larger icons like this that have functionality as well as provide you more information than a standard application like these little ones here. You can swipe all the way to the right to be brought to your app library, and this houses all the applications on your phone, and it organizes them in little boxes. You can tap up here to search, and it's also alphabetical on the right side. This is particularly useful when you do start downloading a lot of applications. Finding them can be tough, so going to the app library gives you that quick search. Now, to open applications, it's simple as well. You just basically tap, the application opens up. Anytime you want to close an application and return to the home screen, you just swipe up from the bottom. It takes you back. We'll do it one more time. Just swipe up and it takes you back. And as you noticed, when we swipe across different pages, the bottom four applications don't move. This is your dock, and these applications stay still no matter what. You can move applications around and organize them and place them in here if you'd like. So you do get the customization there as well. Now, you can also zoom in and out of various applications. For example, Safari, which is our internet browser. When you open that up, it brings us to this page. That's just where I was. But you can use two fingers and swipe outwards like this, or pinch outwards, and it will zoom in. To zoom back out, you can pinch inwards like this. You can also use three fingers and double tap, and it'll zoom in and zoom back out as well. Once again, swiping up exits the application. Now, customizing your home screen is pretty easy. We'll start by organizing applications. So if any application is not in a place you want it, you can tap and hold. Continue to hold until the apps start shaking. Then you can take that app and just move it around like this and release wherever you would like it. In the same fashion, while the apps are shaking, you can create folders where you can organize groups of applications similar to how the app library had them. So for example, if we wanted our weather and clock together, we can tap and hold on our weather and just drag it on top of the clock here, release, and there it is. It'll give it a title. You can tap on it. You can change that title as well. So I'll just call it test. And all your applications that you want in that folder will now be there. Tap the check mark, tap away to go back to the home screen, and you can continue to move apps into that folder, as many as you'd like. If you do fill a page, it'll work the same way where you can swipe back and forth. And then to exit, all you have to do is tap away and tap done. And now you've created that folder. Removing apps from the folder, again, tap and hold, continue to hold, and then just tap inside the folder. This time you're just going to drag them out like this. And if you drag them all out, the folder will disappear. To exit this, you can tap away or tap done at the top right. Now, anytime you want to delete an application, you have the ability to do so. For example, if I go over to this side and I didn't want Zoom anymore, I can tap and hold, and you have some options right here. If you tap remove app, it's going to give you an option here to remove it from the home screen, which just places it inside the app library. It does not delete it. This way it just cleans up your home screen, or you can delete the app completely. It'll prompt you again to delete it, and you can tap delete. Now keep in mind, these applications are still available to you in the App Store, so don't worry. If you've removed it, you can always download it again. I'll show you about downloading in the App Store in a little bit. The other way you can delete applications is to tap and hold on the applications until they start shaking, and then you can just tap on the minus icon right here and delete the application like so. Tap away to confirm it, and that's how you delete applications on the iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Air. Now, these larger options here, these are widgets, and like I said, they give you extra functionality. So to access these widgets, you're going to tap and hold either on an empty space or on the applications themselves until they start shaking. And this time we're going to tap the edit option up here, and we're going to tap add widget. And it'll open up your widget library right here. Yours might look a little bit different, but you'll be able to choose between different things like your weather application, your battery icons, contacts, and all the apps that you use that have widget abilities will be able to be there. So for example, let's say we wanted a simple clock that we can add to our home screen here. We can tap on clock, and these are the options it gives us. So a little clock like this, a clock like that, and there's so many options depending on which application you want to use. So the largest one here gives you 4 spaces, and keep in mind when you add these in, they're going to take up that whole section of that page. You can move these as well, so if you want to align them and you want to move them to another page, you can. Same thing with applications, they work the same way when it comes to moving between pages. And if you want to resize this here, you have this little corner where you can kind of resize it, and it'll turn it into the other option it had within it. You can always tap on it again here to see different information that you can set up. As for this one, it's clock, so where the clocks would be. But depending on which one you choose here, some of them won't even give you the ability like the battery icon, but you can always resize those again. And you can even make the battery icon extremely big, which in this case offers all of that information. And whenever you're done, you can just tap done, and that is how it's going to look. If you want to delete any of these, you can tap and hold, remove the widget just like that, and you're back to your home screen. Now, when it comes to downloading applications on the iPhone, whether it's an iPhone 17, iPhone Air, or older, we use the App Store. So I'll tap on that. And because it's the first time I've opened it with this software, I get this screen here. You may not. You can read through that or tap continue, and it'll take you to this page right here, which is our today page. Now, this is your navigation at the bottom. You can go to the today page, which is basically what we're playing now and things going on for the day. You have a games tab, which is specifically for games, apps, and then arcade, which is a paid service that Apple offers. If you're interested in that, we're not going to talk about that today. But basically, we'll go into the app section here, and you can use either the search, or you can look for whatever apps it's already posting here in its different categories. So top free apps, if I tap on that, we can see the apps that are available for us here. Now, you'll also notice some say get, some say open, some have a cloud. Cloud means you've downloaded them before at some point, and you can re-download them. So if you've downloaded it and deleted it, you can tap that cloud. It'll start to reinstall, and you'll see the little icon there. So we can reinstall Threads. If you have the app already, it'll say open. And if you want to get a new app, for example, this Google Gemini here, we can tap on it. And whenever you're going to get a new application, so the first time, it's going to look like this. It's going to prompt you to install it. You can tap install. And depending on your settings, it's going to ask you for a password or it'll use Face ID. And I'll talk about modifying those settings a little bit later. So in this case, we would just put in our password and confirm it. You'll get that little ding and it'll start to download here. As it's downloading here, you can actually swipe up and you can see it downloading right here at the bottom. It's also giving me a little tip here, but we went over that as well earlier. So once the app is downloaded, you can just tap on it and open it. For example, if we wanted to open Gemini, and you can begin using those applications. Now, one thing that is very important with the App Store is it is tied in with your Apple ID. You can see at the top right here, I have my face, and that means I've signed in to my Apple ID. Now, during the setup process, you should have created your Apple ID. Now, if you didn't create that Apple ID for whatever reason, there is a link in the description that you can click on, and you can create your Apple ID, and then you can sign in on your phone in the settings application right at the top here. Yours would say sign in. You'll also get options within that sign in to create that Apple ID. So check that out if you don't have the ability to download applications. Also, most likely when you download an app, if you're not signed in, it'll prompt you to either create or sign in with an Apple ID. So that's the App Store with the iPhone. Now let's go over some of the buttons here on the iPhone. One of the most popular ones on the left side here is the action button, and this is new to a lot of people. Unless you had one of the previous 2 years worth of iPhones, they had that action button. Well, when you press and hold on that action button, you'll see it silenced my phone. If I press and hold again, the ringer is back on. You can actually customize this button here and it works really well. So we'll open up settings by tapping on it and we're just going to scroll down to where it says action button. From here, you can customize what this button will do. Like I showed you, by default, it silenced the phone. If you turn it to the right, it'll turn on focus. And focus is a little bit more advanced, but what it does is allow you to create a custom sort of silence for your phone. So in certain scenarios, maybe you're at work in a meeting, you can create a special focus for that meeting, so only important calls come through and things like that. You can also have it open up your camera. So if I have that selected and I press and hold, my camera now opens up. You can move it again and it'll work with the visual intelligence. This is tied in to Apple Intelligence, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You can use it as a flashlight. You can have it take voice memos, recognize music, translate, and a magnifying glass. Open up quick controls, which is the control center. We'll go over that in a second. Shortcuts, accessibility features, or have it do nothing at all, which I don't know what the reason for that would even be unless you just don't like it. So that is the action button on the iPhone. The next buttons we'll look at here are your volume buttons, and they work very simple. Anytime you're playing music or in a video, you can press up and down to lower or raise the volume. And then on the right side, we have a side button here, or power button. And this is pretty simple. Anytime you need to turn off your iPhone Air or iPhone 17 model here, you're just going to press and hold on that side button and the volume rocker here. You're going to press together until you see the option like this. It's going to say slide to power off. You can slide to power your iPhone off. The last button on the side of your iPhone here is the camera control button. And this basically, when you press it, opens up your camera. So now you can access your camera. It also has extra options. So if you give it a light press, you can see right there the options. You can actually press a little bit. You can even tap on these options. It'll bring up more and you can swipe between them with that camera control button. More advanced are all of these different settings you can use within the camera, but it is there as a new button for most people if you didn't have an iPhone 16 Pro. Now let's go over how to use Control Center, which is an area you can access quick settings. For this, you pull down from the top right and it brings up this page right here. Now, depending on your iPhone, you may have similar apps, different ones. Mainly the top section here is the same for all of us. And I'll go through what you can do here. So first off, we have these two folders or icons that are larger. If we tap on it, it will open up like this. If we tap on a specific app, it'll activate it just like that. So we have the first one here, which is in airplane mode. So it turns off all your cellular networks, your Wi-Fi and things like that. Obviously great for planes. And it's also good if your internet isn't working at times, you can turn that on and off, and it sometimes triggers it back on. This one is your Wi-Fi. You can turn your Wi-Fi on and off. This one here is going to allow you to use AirDrop. If you have other Apple devices, you can transfer files and photos with AirDrop. It's more advanced, so we're not going to get into that here. And then here you can see there's 4 apps. So if we just tap in between them, it'll open up the full section of what we have there, which is Bluetooth. So you can connect Bluetooth devices, personal hotspot, VPN, and satellite, more advanced here as well. But if you tap and hold on any of these options, it'll bring up other options for you as well. So you can see what I have that I can connect to within my Bluetooth. Tap away to bring it back. If I tap and hold on my Wi-Fi, it's going to load the different Wi-Fi connections that I have available to connect to there. You'll also notice at the bottom, it does say Bluetooth settings or Wi-Fi settings. If I tap on that, it just opens up the settings application, the main one, where you'll have all the settings to access within that section. The next option here is just what's playing. So if you're playing a YouTube video, Netflix, or music, you can control it here. So you can tap play to start playing it. You can tap and hold to bring out the full player. It almost looks like an old iPod. And you'll be able to control the volume, play button, skip, seek, all of that stuff. This one here locks the orientation. So the way iPhones work is traditionally in applications, they'll allow you to hold the phone like this, but if you turn it landscape, you can actually use the phone this way. Well, for some people that can be annoying or gets in the way. So you would turn that on, it would lock that orientation so it can no longer turn sideways. So if I turn the phone like this, it will no longer go in landscape mode. It'll stay in this natural portrait mode like that. So that's there if you need it. How to silence the iPhone if you don't have the action button set to silence or you're using the action button for something else. This little icon here will give you the ability to silence it. Silent mode on, silent mode off. This is simply a brightness toggle. And again, if you tap and hold, it'll bring up other options here. So first one is True Tone. This is a great feature. You can actually see the difference on your own. If you turn True Tone off, you can see it kind of change. Not sure if the camera is showing you, but it's pulling in a lot more different colors or bluish light. Night Shift is a great feature that takes away the blue on the screen. So if you use your phone at night a lot, Night Shift can help you or help the strain on your eyes that blue in these phones technically does. So when you turn it on, you can set it like this and you get that more orangey kind of look to what you're looking at. I have mine set on a schedule. And then lastly, we have dark mode. So traditionally, as you can see right here on my screen, this is how it looks when I open settings. It's a bright white. If I turn on that dark mode, now you see it darkened in the background. I have now darkened the background of my screen. And if I go into settings, it's black like this rather than the white that we had previously. Now the last option is just a simple volume. So if you want to raise or lower the volume of your phone, you can do that right there. And then we have a bunch of applications and options available there. Now these, you can customize them yourself. It's very easy. Tap this plus up here. You can remove them. So if you didn't want one specifically here, you just tap on that little minus. You can resize them if they have other features like this. This one in particular doesn't. And you can add other controls to your control center as well. So you can see a whole bunch of them here that you can use and add and implement based on different apps and features your iPhone has. One of the good ones is a low power mode. So we'll tap away to confirm we added that new control. If we tap on low power mode, it actually brings our iPhone battery icon yellow. This will help you conserve battery and reduce some of the strain that some of these options are using. So it's not going to run at its full capacity, but it'll give you more battery to get you by in a pinch. And it's a nice toggle to have to turn on and off just like that. So again, you can tap and hold add controls if you'd like, search for something you want there, tap on it to add it in, and it'll now be in your control center ready to use. Lastly, in the control center, there is a little button up here. This is actually another power button. So if you don't like turning off the iPhone with the two buttons on the side, you can press the power button. So give it a press like a button. It'll bring you to this page here. And again, you have the slide to power off to turn your iPhone off. All right, now let's go over the main settings application and some of the most important settings that you may need to use throughout your time with an iPhone. So just like with Control Center, we have those basic settings here, which is airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular. But one that is very important is battery. We'll tap on that, and this will give you information based on your battery usage on the front page. You get a percentage, and you'll get information on when it was last charged. If something unusual is happening, it'll kind of tell you right there. You'll be able to see your daily usage here, and you'll be able to see which applications are using the most battery. And if you notice one that is using too much battery for what it is, you can then take action, whether it's deleting it, closing it, and seeing if that helps your situation. You'll also be able to see your battery health here. So if we tap on that, you can see mine is normal. It has a capacity of 100, and I've charged it 55 times. If yours says low or it shows the battery capacity is like 50%, that means the battery most likely needs to be changed. Charging here is a good one too. You can customize how your iPhone charges. It's more advanced. You can read here on how it works, but optimized battery charging is best to have on if you have yours set to 100%. I only let my iPhone charge to 85%. The power mode here gives you that low power mode. There's also more advanced adaptive power mode. And then the last option down here, as you can see on my little icon there, it has a percentage. So if you want to turn off that battery percentage, you can, just like that. And you can see the battery percentage is gone. You can turn it back on like so. I believe it's off by default when you do get a new iPhone. Moving down, let's scroll to where we see display and brightness. So for starters, you can control your light and dark mode just like you did within the control center. You can also set it to automatic, which allows you to set options. So from sunset to sunrise or a custom schedule. So at a certain time, you can have it set up. If you're having trouble seeing the text, you can make it larger or smaller, depending on your preference. And you can also bold the text if that's something you like as well. This area also gives you access to your brightness toggle and your true tone and night shift, which I talked about in the control center, as well as the auto lock, which was in battery. Now, one option here is raise to wake. So the iPhone, when it's locked, if I raise it up, it'll wake up by itself, recognizing that I've done that. If you don't like that, you can turn that off, and then it won't wake up unless you tap on it or press a button. The always on display is a great feature. If you're okay with it, it does use the battery a little bit more, but what this does when we have it always on, it'll show the wallpaper, blur the wallpaper photo, show the notifications, and give you that always on display. So when I lock my phone now, there it is. It's showing up like this rather than just a black screen. Now, this is a personal preference. You can customize this any way you'd like as well. Lastly is the display zoom. So you have a default like this. You can see what it'll look like when it makes things bigger. You can choose that as well. Next, let's go down to sounds and haptics. And now from here, you can control your silent option here as well. When you turn that on, you see that little icon appear up there. The status bar, you can turn that off. If you don't like it, you can turn it off right here. I leave it on. We're going to go back to the ringer mode. Here is your ringtone and alerts. This is where you can change the volume of your ringer. So you can raise the volume, you can lower it. You can also choose to change it with buttons, which is a great iPhone tip because these buttons on the side, the volume rockers, they only change the volume of what you're listening to. However, if you have this enabled, you can now control it just like this. This still gives you the ability to control music and things like that, but only while that app is open while you're listening to it. This one here is haptics, and this is the vibration that comes through your phone. And if you want it to work in silent mode, not play in silent mode, or never play, I have mine to set to always play. It kind of vibrates the phone. And then down here, you can set your ringtones, text tones, and alert tones for all of these different options. And it works very simple. You can just open up ringtones or whatever, choose one. It'll give you a quick sound of it, and you can decide if that's what you want or not. Moving down to the bottom here, there's a reduce loud sounds. And this will reduce audio volume range and create softer sound effects while maintaining the quiet details of the original audio. So if you find that that's an issue, you have that option right there as well. So those are the basics to the sound and haptics of the iPhone. Now, the next one we'll look at is Face ID and passcode. This is an important one. So if you haven't set up a passcode this whole time, you've been just using your phone, that is a good option. But if you do, you'll have to enter it in right there. And this is where you can control what Face ID will do. Now, Face ID is facial recognition to unlock your phone, buy applications, use Apple Pay and payments, and then also autofill passwords. So you just have to have your phone like this. It brings it up to your face, and then you'll be able to perform those different tasks. Now, I will turn mine off just so that I can show you how this is going to work. If you didn't turn it on, you can set it up now right here. So we'll tap on Setup Face ID, which basically will then bring up the instructions. Tap Get Started. And it's going to tell me to position my head. So I'm going to try my best with this camera here. And I'm just going to kind of turn it. And it grabbed it, even with my hat on and everything. Here it's going to ask you if you want to use Face ID with a mask during setup. I'm going to say don't use Face ID with a mask. And now Face ID is set up. It's much faster now. It used to take a few of those to set it up, but once you have it set up, you can choose to have it unlock your phone. So now all I have to do to unlock my phone is bring my face close by and swipe up, and my phone is unlocked. And it works the same way with all of these different options. You can set up other appearances as well. So if somebody else uses your phone with you, and if we scroll down a little more, here is where you can change your passcode as well. So to do this, you would enter in your old passcode. It would prompt you to do it again. Okay, so now we'll verify our new passcode. It is giving you 72 hours to use your old one. And we'll go in and put a new passcode. And now we've set our new passcode for our iPhone for unlocking and things like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind is with Face ID is it's your initial way of getting in. The passcode always surpasses this. Sometimes when you restart the iPhone, you will be prompted to put that passcode over Face ID. Now, one of the biggest features with iPhones is Siri and Apple Intelligence being tied into it. Now, Siri is your personal assistant with this phone, like an Alexa or a Google, things like that. But Siri basically now has Apple Intelligence integrated, and if you turn it on, it's off by default, you can then have it deeply integrated into your phone and applications as well. So I have a full tutorial on Apple Intelligence. You can click up here on the card to watch that after this video. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's a huge feature. And it has the ability to use ChatGPT as well. So you're getting a full-on AI personal assistant at your fingertips, and it then ties in with all of your apps and things like that. There's a lot to it, so I would strongly recommend you watch that video, but this is where you would go to turn on your Apple Intelligence and customize your Siri. Now, a feature built into the iPhone is wallpapers, and if we tap on wallpaper here, you can see the one that we have currently installed. We can swipe left and right here to change the wallpaper, add a new wallpaper, but you can also do this from the lock screen. So unlock your iPhone, bring your face close by. You'll see that unlock symbol appeared. Then you're just going to tap and hold right there. So basically, now we can swipe between them and actually see them a little bit better, and we can customize them down here. We'll just add a new one rather than customizing, so we'll hit that plus. And it opens up your page here where you can choose photos, photo shuffle, astronomy, emojis, and things like that. Or you can even scroll through the different options here and choose which ones you like. We'll choose this one here for now. And it's giving me this earth. I can actually swipe, and you see anytime you see these little dots, that means there's the ability to swipe between different options. So let's say I wanted that one. I can also modify some of these applications or widgets built in to the lock screen here. So I can tap on the top, and it'll give me a widget to choose from. Right now it's set to date, but I can choose from any of these options here as well. I'm happy with the date there. I'm also happy with the clock. You can change the clock into different fonts and thicknesses and things like that. But I'll just go back to the original, and I'm actually going to go with a gray look there. And then here is where you can add different widgets as well. So again, you can go through this whole list. I'm going to tap on battery, and I want a small battery. So I can just tap that in there. So now it'll show me my AirPods battery. I can also choose to have my new Gemini app to be there as well. So I can tap on that and it'll appear there. You can also use the larger ones if you'd like. But if you do use a larger one, it'll take away the amount of options or spaces you have. If you want to remove any of them, you can, just like that, and it works very well. You can also remove these applications down here. So if you didn't want the camera there, and then you can tap plus, you can choose what that will be. And this is a quick action button that you'll be able to use. So it is camera by default and it's flashlight by default. You choose what you like. And when you're done, you can tap add. Here, it's going to give you the ability to set it as a wallpaper pair, so your home screen and your lock screen pair. You can customize it if you'd like as well, so adding color over it, a gradient over it, and you can even add photos over it. You can blur it if you'd like as well, so it's blurry. It's totally up to you how you want to customize your screen here. Once you're done, you just tap on it, and that's how you select it. When you select it, now you have access to everything on this screen. So you grab your phone, you unlock it, you can press and hold on that camera, and it's going to bring up the camera. If we press and hold on the flashlight now, you can see there's a light shining on my hand there. If you want to change it or customize it at any time, you can always hold your finger over it. Make sure your Face ID engages, and then you can swipe between all your different backgrounds. And you can even add focuses to it, but again, more advanced. You can access it from the lock screen or the wallpaper setting, and they both pretty much do the same thing. Now, one of the most important areas you can look at with your iPhone settings is the privacy tab here, and that's privacy and security. When you open that up, this has location services. So basically it'll show you which applications are using your location. So I turned it on here, and I've already set these up in the past. You'll get prompted if you're going to allow your location with certain apps, but you'll see some say never, when shared, when using. Some might even say always. So you want to tap on those sometimes and just check on them and make sure that they are set the way you want and they're not questionable apps that can then see and use your location. You also want to scroll all the way down and tap on system services. There is an option here, and it's a little bit concerning. I've talked about this in the past, but it's called significant locations and routes. It's on by default, and it even prompts you for Face ID before it lets you. There's a map here, and it's got 9 records of where I've been, and it's in here. Now, it does tell you the reason for this. It may be nothing to worry about, but it is a little bit odd that it's tracking where I'm going and it has my records here. You can always clear this history down here, or you can turn this significant location and routes off, but some applications like maps and things like that need that for its own suggestions. So if you like it, just come over here and clear that history every once in a while as well. But it is an option down there that you may want to turn off. Another one here is the status bar icon. You want to have that on. That's that little arrow up there. That way you know if it's purple, that indicates that an item recently used your location. Gray indicates that an item has used your location in the past 24 hours. So that way you see if it's being used or not at the top. The next setting I want to talk about is a very important one that could potentially save your life, and that's emergency SOS. So as you saw earlier when we turned off the iPhone, if you use those 2 buttons like this and you hold them, this pops up. This will give you the access to your medical ID, which you can set up in the health app. I won't talk about that. You can also have it call emergency services. And tying in with this are these 2 settings here, so you can have it call with a hold and release. So if you continuously hold the side button and either volume button, a countdown will begin and an alarm will sound. You can also have it call with a 5-button press. So you press the side button 5 times and then that countdown will go off. But the next one here is call after a severe crash. So if you are in a crash, this will actually call those emergency services. It doesn't detect all crashes, but it has saved a lot of people's lives. And then down here, you can enter in your emergency contacts. I've already done that. You can do that as well. I just don't want to show those contacts. So let's go over some more advanced navigation options. So there's something called reachability with the iPhone. So in those situations where you're holding your iPhone and you can't reach what's at the top, there's a reachability feature here. You're kind of swiping down from the bottom, and now you can access your iPhone a little bit easier with that reachability. So again, you're just pulling down at the bottom side here, brings everything down so you can access the top. Great for one-handed use. Additionally, you can use the app switcher or multitask feature, and that's done by just pulling up and then to the right a little bit and then releasing. This shows you all the apps you currently have open, and you can then swipe up to close those apps out, or you can actually tap on them to open those apps and quickly multitask and switch between apps. All right, now let's take a look at the dynamic island with the iPhone 17s and the iPhone Air. That's this little circle here. So whenever you open up an app that takes advantage of it, you'll see that appear in the dynamic island. So for example, we have a stopwatch here. If we start it and we swipe up to exit our app, that stopwatch is going to start up there in that dynamic island, kind of brought it outwards. You can tap and hold on it. We'll give you some extra controls here, so I can pause it, play, refresh it, whatever. Or you can tap on it and it'll open that application as well. And the great thing with Dynamic Island is that it has the ability to incorporate different things. So for example, if you plug your phone to a charger, it should appear up there. You can see the dynamic island is showing me that charge. It'll also prompt you with different things like notifications and stuff up there as well. So it has a great ability to it, and there's a lot you can do. There's a full dynamic island tutorial here if you want to learn exactly how it works. But basically, you can just see all apps up there and different notifications, whether it's live scores or a stopwatch or music, and you'll be able to work with it just like that. Now, as you use your phone, you'll compile notifications as well. And notifications are actually all stored in your notification center, and you can access that by pulling down from the top. And these notifications are things like text messages, emails, missed calls. It could be anything that was a notification that you weren't able to get to on the spot. It saves that in what's called the notification center. You'll be able to see your lock screen background, and you'll see whatever notifications you have here. I only have one on this phone, but if I swipe to the left, it'll allow me to clear it. If I tap and hold on it, I'll be able to see it bigger or get extra options as well. So all of these will be set up here and compiled based on how you have them set up on your settings. You can also tap that X and clear it or clear the groups. In the settings app, under notification, that's where you're going to configure how these look. So you can have them display as a count, a stack, which is how I had it. So as more notifications compile, they'll stack on each other and you can kind of scroll through them, or you can have them listed underneath each other. But this is a good area to kind of go through and customize which applications you want to have the notification style, or even if you want to turn some of those notifications off so that you never receive them, like this. There's quite a few things you can do in here. It's a little bit time consuming, but you can just kind of work your way through each one. Very easy to understand, but that's where your notification settings are. So when you pull down from the top, it's the way you want it, and you can work with them on the lock screen and from the notification center right there. Now let's go over some camera basics here, and this is the new camera app. It looks different with iOS 26, and it looks different here as well on screen. Basically here, what we're seeing is our camera, and it's set to photo by default, and anytime you take a photo, it's just a quick tap. You can scroll here at the bottom, just sliding between all these different options like video, portrait mode, spatial, or panoramic. You can even go to the front facing camera really easily, just like that. Now you see me here and my camera setup, and they have all the same features with the front camera. And there's a whole bunch of features and settings that you can do, like zooms, zooming out, tapping to focus. It's a new interface. If you want a full tutorial on the camera, that video is right here as well. But basically, you just open it up, take your photos, go to the section you want, and there's a whole bunch of settings that you can play with as well within each of those options. But that's a brief introduction to the iPhone 17 Pro Max camera and iPhone Air cameras. Now, for those of you who are interested in AI and things like that, this Playground app is available. If you have Apple Intelligence on and you're using it, you can tap on Playground here and generate AI images. So you can see it's just describe an image. A cat playing with a ball in the snow. And then we tap the check mark and it's going to start to build that up. And it creates the image. Now it's going to create a couple of them here, and you can swipe between them as it continuously generates it. But that is pretty cool. Again, if you want to watch the full tutorial on how to use the Playground app, you can click the card up there. It gives you a full rundown. You can even put your own face in here and have it generate based off your own character. You can upload images. You can add different things to the actual prompt that you gave it. And you can tie this in with your Notes app and other applications as well. So now my cat here is playing with a ball while he's hiking. And we can change it up and use all of these different features built in here. So it's really cool for AI lovers, giving you the ability to create AI generated photos like these here on the go, built right into your iPhone 17, 17 Pro, or iPhone Air. Now, some basics that you would want to know is the phone application. So anytime you need to place a call, you're going to tap on that phone app. It brings it up like this. So your keyboard is here. You can access your contacts over here, and you can access your calls right here. So you'll be able to see all the calls that came through, missed calls, and things like that. Now, this is a new design as well. So if you go to the top right here, you may see this icon. And right now I have it as unified. If you like the classic look, you'll tap on that and it'll show up like this now down here. So you can then configure it the way you want. I'm leaving it on unified, and then you can always tap edit here. But if you pull down from the top here, it'll pop up with your share name and photo. So if you want to share this with others when you do make a phone call, you can customize this photo here, choose a photo from your photo library, have it as a poster. And I have a video on this as well, but now you can access this feature right here. So this way, when you call someone, that's what they will see on their phone, unless they overwrite that with their own photo of you or whatever they want to have when you make that call. But that is the basics to the phone app. And when it comes to messages, you just open up your message tab here. You can turn on messages in iCloud if it prompts you. You can tap up here to see those different sections once again. And all your messages will appear here. I don't have any, but if I wanted to send a message, I could just tap there and type in one of my contacts like this one, and I can then type in and send a message just like that. It's not going to work on this phone because it isn't signed into iMessage, but basically you would send that. It would be in a blue bubble if it's going from iPhone to iPhone. Green bubbles are text messages, so anybody who doesn't have an iPhone would see that. You also have this plus option here, so you can take a photo, access your photos, stickers, Apple Cash, all kinds of stuff here that you can add to your message. So that is the beginner's guide to the iPhone Air, iPhone 17 Pro Max, and iPhone 17. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm happy to help you out. I have tons of iPhone 17 and iPhone Air videos coming out. So if you're looking to learn more, definitely subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification box and the like button. That way you're notified when I post those new videos. I hope this helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.